I am delighted to be given the opportunity to contribute to the debate on health today. It is indeed a privilege for me to contribute to a debate on health issues on behalf of my constituents of Kildare North, with a view to highlighting areas in the health service where there are significant opportunities for improvement. Before I get in the main points of my contribution, I want to set the context in relation to the points that I am going to make. The health of the nation and the state of the health services that are available to our citizens should always be on the agenda of public representatives and on the agenda of this House. No matter how much money is spent on health services and no matter how good our health professionals are, there will always be a requirement for more resources for health services as our population ages. As new medical procedures become available, as new medicines are developed, the health service will always be in the spotlight, and it is our duty to ensure that it remains in the spotlight. Throughout my relatively short career in public life, I have witnessed year in, year out, the adversarial approach adopted by politicians in relation to health policy, the government claiming it is always right and the opposition claiming the government policies are not adequate to address the health issues facing the country. Opposition parties must provide an effective challenge to government policy when it is needed, and the government needs to defend its policies when it passionately believes that they are the right ones. However, the people on waiting lists for vital health procedures will not forgive the politicians if we do not develop a new approach in relation to the formation of health policies, namely have open discussions in this House on health policies, seek every TD's input and allow political parties to have their say. Often the best policies are achieved by collaboration with others, and every TD should be given the opportunity to have their input. I also feel that we must recognise the great work of the thousands of employees in the health service day in, day out. Thousands of health service professionals provide invaluable care to many patients who use the health service. In the heated debates that often takes place in this House and outside this House with regard to health policy and resource for the health service, their work, their dedication and their professionalism often gets ignored. Indeed, many people who gain access to our health service are full of praise for the workers in their service, and it is important that we recognise this vital contribution of those working in the health service, and I am delighted to acknowledge their work here today. Indeed, it is only fair to acknowledge the significant improvements that have taken place in cardiac treatment and in the cancer care service over the last 15 to 20 years. Under Micheál Martin as Minister for Health, he indeed did bring forward health policies that did have a long-term benefit for the community as a whole, as demonstrated by the Cardiac National Treatment Services and the Cancer Care Services. Like everyone in this House, health is a constant issue at my weekly clinics. Access to vital health procedures is a challenge. Waiting lists are increasing. Securing home care for the elderly is a constant struggle for many older people. Vital services for children are starved of resource, and medical cards for those that most need them seem to be getting harder to secure. Indeed, in the last week, I've come across two particular cases that I believe merit mention in this debate. One is a child who's on a waiting list for 18 months for a vital operation to enable the child to walk. In a developed country like Ireland, a child needing such treatment to enable them to walk should not have to wait so long. The second case worth mentioning, only because it has become more regular at my clinics, relates to securing home help hours or carers for the elderly. It is becoming more challenging for older people to secure home help hours, and when they do get approved for the home help hours, they are finding it difficult to secure personnel being appointed to carry out the home help. I know from reviewing information in relation to Naas Hospital in my constituency, which is typical, I'm sure, what is happening in other parts of the country, highlights the need for a different approach. For instance, there are 668 people waiting over a year for an outpatient appointment in Naas Hospital in March of 2015. That's up 424 or 173% in the previous year. There are 5,320 on the outpatients waiting list in Naas Hospital. There are 426 people on trolleys in Naas during March 2016. That's up 37 or 9.5% on March the previous year. While listing off these statistics is effortless, there's a medical need, and in many cases an acute medical need behind each person in these statistics. In particular, I believe that older people must become more of a focus of health policy. Given the projected increase in the number of older people in Ireland, it is important that we put in place policies to support and deal with this reality. In 2006, there were 468,000 people aged 65 or older in Ireland, but by 2041, the number of people in this country over 65 will be 1.4 million. Care for the elderly can be provided for in their own home with some modest supports from government and government agencies. Older people prefer to live in their own home, and this can be assisted by providing home care packages or home care hours and making their physical environment more suitable for their needs. In Kildare, we have seen a drop of 83,346 home help hours between 2010 and 2015, and a huge drop in the housing adaptation grant for older people, down from nearly 4 million to 1 million over 4 to 5 years. The lack of resources for care for the elderly is demonstrated by poor investment in home care hours and housing housing grants means that we're pushing older people into care in the hospitals or into residential care. The pushing of older people into facilities which are already strained will be much better in facilitating independent living, encouraging people to be mindless in their own home, and they will be overall cost of the care elderly would free up facilities which would be needed for much other services.
Thank you, Deputy. Thank you.
Thank you
very much. Thank you.